Hey, hi. Don't know why I'm smiling. I don't know if you've heard that we're about to get into a global recession. Like, things are about to get real. And I probably shouldn't be smiling because it's going to be gnarly. The thing is, I believe in one core principle, and that is that you cannot save your way out of a recession. You have to sell your way out of a recession. And I'm a salesman. So for me, this is a great opportunity to grow. If only I can get my customers to sign off those deals a little bit quicker. And that's exactly what I'm going to help you do in this video. Stick around. Hey, welcome to Lead Loud. My name is Richard Mulholland. I'm the founder and chief evangelist of Presentation Powerhouse Missing Link. Now, a big part of our business is sales presentations, helping companies develop sales presentations and training their teams so that they get in front of humans and present better and close faster. And that leads to, I guess, the theme for today's video, which is one of the biggest questions that we get asked when we're speaking to sales managers and business owners. It is this: how can I shorten my sales cycle? We've got deal flow, our pipeline is good, we've got people constantly wanting to, in meetings, but it's taking them 2, 3, 4 months to sign off those deals. If we could only sign them off quicker, it would be so much better for us. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now, the principles I'm going to share with you are from my book, Here Be Dragons. If you want to get more detail on this, definitely consider going check out. There's an audio book, there's a Kindle version, you can get the actual book itself. Please definitely consider going and checking that out and downloading that for more detail on what I'm sharing with you today. All right, if you want to shorten your sales cycle, there's one thing that you need to understand, one idea that I want to land in your head, and it's a great quote, one of my favorite quotes of all times. It's by Duke Ellington, the jazz musician, and he said this. He said, "I don't need time, what I need is a deadline." And if you think about it, it's an incredible statement, and you know it's true. When Parkinson's law says that, the amount of time it takes to do something is dependent on the amount of time you have. And so if we could figure out what that deadline is for our customers, that would make it more likely for them to sign the deal, because they're procrastinators and they sign the deal when they need it. And that's why the theme that I want to talk about today is compelling events. What type of compelling events could there be that will bring that deadline closer? There are 3 types of compelling events that I think that we could drive for our customers. Type number 1 is seller-led. Type number 2 is market-led. And type number 3 is buyer-led. All of these are little levers that we can pull if we want to shorten our sales cycle. I'm going to explain them in a little bit of detail. And while they go from kind of worst to best, it's not to say that the one that, seller-led, which is the weakest, is necessarily bad. So what seller-led means is this is a deal that maybe I would give to you. I might give you an early bird discount. If you're one of the first people to buy, you can get this, or maybe a time dependent. If you want to buy into our boredom stairs presentation training, we have an open group coming up next week. The first 10 people that sign up to that open group will get a 10% discount. You've all seen things like that. You often see them on webinars and things, and they're fantastic provided the person wants your product. Okay, so if the person wants your product, but you just want them to close quicker, and they definitely want it, but you want them to close quicker, a seller-led compelling event that if you buy X, you can get it, you will win. Okay, so it's one vehicle, but sometimes it's not enough. The next compelling event is market-led. This could be a new competitor coming into the space. It could be something that's happening that you've got to prepare for. So, for example, if you were selling Zoom licenses in 2020, that was a very big compelling event that we had to be ready to be able to communicate this way within a week's time. Boom, everyone went and downloaded Zoom. That compelling event was led by the market and it was massive. Probably the most famous one that I can remember is the Y2K Millennium Bug. Everybody went and bought that software because they needed it. That was the easiest sales pitch ever, basically. So market-led ones are great. And what you have to be doing to take advantage of those is try and consider, this video started with a market-led plea. The market-led plea is that we're about to hit a global recession. And if you want some help with it, watch this video. And where I'm going to get to later is if you want some help with it, read the book. If you really want help with it, definitely you should be having a conversation with Missing Link, because we can do that. So I'm using a market-led compelling event in order to promote this video. I still believe they work. The most important one though is buyer-led. That is something that the buyer has to do. So in Missing Link's history, a big part of our work has always been big conferences. And so they have a big conference where somebody's got to stand up on a stage and they've got to deliver a presentation or presentations and, maybe sell the strategy to the rest of the business. Or another big product for us would be a financial results presentation. There are investors and shareholders and analysts, and the CEO or the CFO has to present their results. There's a lot at stake for them getting that right, and the deadline is that they have to show up on this particular day. Now, when you have a product with a high deadline like that, good things happen. For me, if I can find a buyer-led, any type of buyer-led compelling event, that's what I try to provoke the most. I might be having a conversation with somebody and they might want to chat about, our public speaking program, Story to Stage, or our boredom series presentation coaching. In order to make sure that we understand the urgency, I want to find out why it matters to them, and I want to make the date and time real. And this is where I introduce this Dragon Hunter question. And I've spoken about this before, but I cannot speak about it enough. The Dragon Hunter question is a question I ask at some point at the beginning of almost every single meeting I have, and it's very simple. At some point, maybe after I've gone through the agenda of how I think the meeting will run, I'll simply drop this in and say, listen, I'm curious. Nobody needs another meeting in their life right now. Like, the last thing anybody wants is to jump onto somebody else's sales call. So I'm wondering, why was this the right time for you to have this meeting? Why was this the right time to have this meeting? And then you wait. And you know what happens? They tell you, because they have to tell you. Why was this the right time for us to have this meeting? And you sit back and you wait, and they will explain to you, well, you know what happens is I've got a really big presentation coming up, or there's a new job happening and I want to put my hand up to start being more visible and make myself an option and things like this. And so I want to kind of level up in this regard. And when you find that, you know what is at stake. And then you got to get a time frame. So when is that happening? Sure. Okay. Well, we got to get some reps in before that. It's 3 months. It sounds like a long time away, but of course it's not. Sure. Okay. It's a bit of a rush, but let's maybe, hit the ground running and try and get you a bit of a head start. What do you think? And then we communicate like that. And the next thing, the person has a slight amount of panic because they realize, oh my goodness, there's a deadline. And again, to go back to Duke Ellington, you don't need time. What you need is a deadline. And this is exactly what your sales needs. If your salespeople are not trying to find that deadline, they are lengthening the sales cycle because they're leaving it up to the customer to decide. That's the number one job. If you want to shorten your sales cycle right now, you have to figure out, how can I create a compelling event to make that deadline visible and close? If you can get those two things right, you will sell faster. If you want more about this, as I said, feel free to jump in and grab a copy of Here Be Dragons. I go through this in a lot of detail, how to break down meetings, how to do things. And certainly, if you want help as a business, we really do believe that we can give you an unfair advantage. In fact, we have an unfair advantage sales series where we actually help businesses sell better with ideas like this. And of course, at the very least, hit subscribe on this channel, and I'll be sharing tips with you on a weekly basis around how to get better, just like we hopefully did today. Most importantly though, if action followed knowledge, we'd all have six packs. The bottom line is for you to go out and try it. So my challenge to you this week, if you're on a sales call or you run a sales team, get them to drop that Dragon Hunter question and then come into the comments and let me know how it goes. Until next time, lead loud.